What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Starfighter podcast with Dom and Jake. We're here to talk about Andor episodes 1 through 3. We're kind of late in the game, but we're trying to play some catch up here and excited to do it. Jake, how's it going?
Oh yeah, man. I'm doing good. Nice brisk day today here in California, so it's
Yeah,
good.
what's the weather like right now?
It was nice and chilly. It was like overcast most of the day. It rained this morning and kind of Seattle weather, so I enjoyed it thoroughly. But I
Okay.
don't live in Seattle, so it's a nice welcome to California.
I woke up to 38 degrees and I'm feeling it
The good
for
stuff.
sure.
Heck yeah. And I do apologize if there's some noises, everybody. I do have some construction going on the house right now, so if you hear any banging,
As long as it's not lawnmower guy again, I think we're good.
same person, but we're gonna figure this out tonight. Yeah, if you hear any banging, don't ask me if there's somebody in my closet. That's all I have to say. I definitely don't do that kind of thing for sure.
All right, all right. Well, before we get started, if you guys haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us on social media, especially Spotify and Apple Podcast. Yeah, give us a good review. But okay, Andor. We haven't talked about Andor really at all yet. And also, guys, tuning in, we do appreciate you guys tuning in, and feel free to ask us any questions in the comment section, or give us your thoughts on these first 3 episodes of Andor. We definitely want to hear them. All right, Jake, you and I do know, like, off stream we've talked about Andor quite a bit, and we definitely have pretty different views. But I think that's what's going to make these reviews kind of special too, in a way.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Definitely 2 sides, but yeah, why don't you give me your kind of initial thoughts about the show in general?
Episodes 1 through 3 were just a little slow. That's it. It was expected. I think it, honestly, for the most part, was due to maybe how they advertised it and the clips they put out before the show actually aired or anything like that. They probably showed the most intense part of episodes 1 through 3 on like a check this out clip that they sent out probably a week before the actual show dropped. And I was just like waiting for the show to pick up until episode 3, basically. And so 1 through 2 were just a little stale. Did not care for them too much, or episode 3 necessarily, because nothing happens until the last 5 minutes of that episode. But yeah, that's it. A little slow. Okay.
All right.
That's all. That's it, man. I wanted some pace. I wanted something to pick up.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm totally kind of on the opposite end. Like, I do understand, because a lot of people online, have been talking about how the show, it's a slow burn, 100%. But there's just so many things that, like, I just really like about it. I think the production value is by far the best looking Star Wars that we've seen from Disney. I think it looks better than, well, I mean, say what you will about Last Jedi. Last Jedi, like, the cinematography looked good, but definitely, if we're talking about the shows, by far, Andor looks the best, even better than Mandalorian. And then, of course, Obi-Wan and Boba Fett were kind of not as good as when it came to the visuals, but that's one big positive for me. And then another thing is the acting and the writing, I think is really cool. I feel like this show too I think it's trying to say a lot to the audience, and one of the things is that I feel like it's a show that takes itself fairly serious, which I think that's kind of a new idea a little bit for Star Wars, because I think we're used to seeing Star Wars be a lot more lighthearted, and just like have like way more jokes. Also, for the most part, Star Wars in general doesn't have like the best dialogue. It just never really has had super strong dialogue. And so I don't know, this series, I mean, I guess like a lot of them is just not for everybody. And it is very different in some ways, but I appreciate that it's a lot more serious, it's a lot darker tone. I think we get like those darker tones right off the bat in episode 1, but um yeah, what do you think about those things?
Yeah, I like the acting. I was super hyped. I mean, if anyone goes back and watches anything from the last couple of months that we talk about, I always bring up how excited like I was for the series. I thought the acting is pretty good so far. It's definitely a lot better than everything else that we've gotten from them in all the aspects that you named, visual, acting wise, all that stuff. I 100% agree. Just they're killing me. They're killing me a little bit. I mean, I don't want to go into. We're only talking about 1 through 3, but then something happens in episode 4, and then you have to wait until episode 6. At the end of episode 6, to like get a full like. Well, I don't know. They were talking about a mission, and it doesn't happen.
Uh-oh, froze up just a little bit. Give you a second. I do know what you're saying, though, for sure. We'll give Jake just a second to come back on. But yeah, it's a slow burn, 100%. But then there's moments that really pick up, and I feel like definitely get more intense too. What does the chat think? Let us know in the comment section how you guys have been liking this this series, the Andor series. While we wait for Jake, our unofficial sponsor, I'll just give a quick shout out, is Mountain Dew Baja Mango Gem. Rip to Mountain Dew Baja Gold, which is my absolute favorite. If you know, you know. It's just insane. Baja Mango Gem does not roll off the tongue. I may have said that before, but it's still pretty decent. Anyways, shout out to Mountain Dew. All right, I think Jake had to leave for just a minute, so we'll keep it running. Let us know again in the chat whether it's live now or on the replay. Let us know in the comment section how you guys have been enjoying this series. All right, Jake's back. All right, Jake's back.
Technical difficulties.
Don't remember the last thing you were saying, but I was starting to agree with you again, mentioning how it was a slow burn. But again, there are these moments, and once you get beyond episode 3, especially, or well, the ending of episode 3, and then beyond into some of like the episodes in the middle, there's these moments that get like really intense too. Yeah. Another great thing is that the music is seriously on point throughout this series, I think, especially in those moments where things are getting like really intense and are like building up for like suspense. Yeah. It's too slow for you, right?
It's just too slow.
A lot of it's too slow for you. I get it.
That's pretty much my one gripe with it. Like, they set something up and then you're just like waiting. Like, all right, okay, all right, like, come on.
Yeah,
that's it. So, but that's pretty much it for me. That's pretty much my quarrels with it, besides other things. But
for sure,
I mean, that's pretty much.
It's understandable. It's understandable. Yeah, and I can't disagree. It's slow. Most of the time, it's pretty slow. But I do like really like the story that we're getting for the most part. Why don't we kind of get into that with episode 1? Episode 1 and 3, it's obviously, if you're watching this, you guys all know that it's an arc, so they all kind of bleed into one another. That's why they were released all 3 at once for the premiere. So we're gonna kind of review the these first 3 episodes like all together. So if we kind of bounce back and forth between the episodes, it's because we're kind of just piecing them as one. So it's all good. I mean, right off the bat, like I was starting to say earlier, is we get these darker tones, like with Cassian out in the rain. And I was thinking that it was like, well, it it kind of reminded me of what I thought like the underground of Coruscant would be, which that was supposed to be like a show at one point, was going to be like the underworld of Coruscant. So
Mhm.
um, I really liked that initial planet that he was on. But yeah, he's going into like this club and he's looking for his sister, and that's kind of, it's like a little bit of a running theme through this series, is that he's kind of searching for his sister, and then he runs into these cops, and we've got this altercation here. He accidentally kills one of them because they're, they try to chase him down and pick a fight with him. Yeah, he accidentally kills the first one, and then he decides to pull the trigger on the second one. So
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
crazy. Anything you want to say about this beginning?
No, not too much. It's interesting. I mean, I could see what they're trying to do with him and say like the rebellion isn't all good and yada yada yada. But
And he's not even a rebel just yet either.
true. Yeah, he's not even a rebel. He's just kind of a guy looking for a sister. Yeah, a little interesting how they made the good guy just kill two cops. I guess, a little unnecessary, a little bit. He didn't do anything wrong, but like for like I don't know, he could have gotten out of whatever they were gonna say, get him in trouble for. But yeah, I don't know. It was a little unnecessary, but I get why they did it for like the tone of the show, because it is supposed to be a little bit darker and a lot more serious. And then they're trying to connect it back to his lines, Rogue One, where he says like, you don't know what he's done or had to do, and the rebellion's like not all good. Yeah. So they're like trying to show that clearly. But yeah. I think it's a little bit weird. I'll say this because you said it runs through, and I do not feel like it runs through. I feel like it's in this first episode, and then after that, he's basically.
I meant with him trying to find his sister. That's kind of like a running theme. That's what I meant.
Yeah, except like they don't ever mention it again, especially in like the middle episodes, which we aren't talking about. He kind of just like in the beginning he does, and then like he might drop a line or two about it through like 1 through 3, but not really. Like that's not his main interest, or maybe that's just because he's on the run now. He's not thinking about it. But it just kind of seemed like they set it up, and then like they're like, oh, like that's what happened. He's looking for his sister. Like now you guys know why he's a bad guy, or why he accidentally had to kill these guys. And then he's just like, oh, like I don't know.
Now that you mention that, it's a good point. Now that you mention it, because it's like, it looked like it was going in that direction, and then like these other things start to happen in his life that kind of like throw him off course. And like one of those things is, this altercation with these cops, because now the Empire gets involved and people are after him.
Yeah.
So now he can't really focus on what he's trying to do. So yeah, there are episodes where we don't even talk about it at all. One of the newer episodes, we won't get into it a whole lot, but like his mom, or his adoptive mom, tells him to stop looking for her. So that kind of made me think like maybe we're gonna see him try again later, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So I honestly, when I first put on the series, I thought that would be like a pretty big running theme throughout the show, and then it just kind of turned out to be a nothing burger for me. At least I was like, okay, like when is he gonna, like, does he not care anymore? What's going on? So
yeah,
I thought that would be one of the more like driving forces behind what he's doing and why he's doing it, if he thinks it's like beneficial for him, if it's going to get him closer to his sister or not. But
yeah, and I liked that concept too, because I feel like a lot of times like stories might have something similar, but I feel like it's usually more so like a parent um like trying to find their child, for example,
Mm-hmm.
or like reconnect with them. um
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that's one thing like that I really liked about Shang-Chi, is that part of that was about him like reconnecting with his sister. um I don't know, I've always kind of liked that, having a lot of siblings. I just think it's cool to add that into stories. So hopefully we'll kind of get back to that, because
Yeah.
I did find that interesting. And again, through these 3 episodes, we get these flashbacks to when he's a kid too. And what do you think about this? Because to me, it kind of reminded me of like Arrow. I don't know if you ever watched Arrow a whole lot.
Like the CW show
Yeah,
about a superhero.
honestly, I don't really recommend it. It's not that great. The first couple seasons were
First
decent
couple
though.
seasons are okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but I always liked that about Arrow, and it's not like it's super original, but um, I thought Arrow did it pretty well, where they would go back and forth with flashbacks. Oh, I guess Lost. Lost is another good example too of that. Going
Mm.
back and forth between present time and past, and like having that ultimately like shape the story and the plot. But yeah, what do you
Book
think
of
about
Boba Fett, man. Another great
that's
example of flashbacks.
I think this does it better than Book of Boba Fett, because like yeah, anyways,
Uh,
that's a good point. I totally forgot about
Everyone hated on Book of Boba Fett for their flashbacks. Anyways,
I mean, that seemed way more pointless
it was.
than this, because
I
we
think it seems pointless right now, but I think that there's obviously a connection. Like they're showing it. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think they're either trying to make that planet into a Death Star or something like that, or that's where they mine the minerals for it, or something,
uh-huh.
or something has to do obviously with the massive weapon that they're creating, and that's like why they don't want anybody over there, and they killed off the entire population. I think there's a cover up, obviously, or maybe, yeah. I mean, that's what I think, at least. But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, they go back to that planet. That's all I want to see is Cassie like go back to that planet, check out what's going on. So, but
Yeah,
maybe we'll get there. How many episodes are in the season? Do you remember?
there's 12.
Okay. Okay.
So right now, I think the 8th episode is out right now.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't watched the newest one just yet, but yeah, we're only talking about 1 through 3 tonight.
Okay, so we have time. We have time to get back there. You get back on track. I think that he's just been a little
Yeah.
sidetracked. This whole season seems like a sidetrack, honestly. But dude, the flashbacks are interesting. Well, I mean, dude, if the sister plot is supposed to be like the main plot of Cass, like trying to figure that out, I think that he's gonna, he got led onto this mission, and then he's got thrown
Yeah.
in jail, and then now he's like, and then once he gets out, maybe he's gonna find his sister in the rebellion somehow magically. I don't know. That'd be kind of. I wouldn't be too happy about that, but we'll go with it. But yeah, yeah, we'll see, man. I don't know. I like the flashbacks. I guess it was kind of interesting. It didn't really tell us too much, just like enough to pique our curiosity. But
Right.
I do want to know what happened to everybody there for sure. Clearly, everybody wants to. But I don't. What do you think, Tom? What happened to him all? Do you think that his sister's still alive too, or is that like a big no-go?
I'm not sure. I feel like she's probably still alive,
Okay.
most likely. Um, it seems like the Empire destroyed it, but maybe it wasn't necessarily the Empire, like just like maybe it wasn't only them, maybe it was other things involved. But I think even in subtle ways, like the show is trying to show us just like the influence and the impact that the Empire makes, um in like small ways, and then it shows us like the big picture here and there too.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 I haven't done too much. It's been a long time since I watched episodes, so I can't really pull too much information about like why I think that the way I think, but there's got to be some clues sprinkled in the show to kind of hint at what happened, but
Yeah.
I haven't got them yet.
So let's talk a little bit about like the friendships that he's got going on at home and kind of like the dynamics that he has with his relationships. Um, I mean, I think Bix is a super cool character. She definitely is like a standout to me in the show. So hopefully we'll get to see more of her. Also, yeah, I think we kind of touched on it, but just like all of the actors are really good. Um, some definitely better than others, but like uh, I think everyone's pretty strong and solid. Um, so yeah, really like Bix's character. I think it's obvious that her and Cassian had a relationship at one point. There's some history. Um, from what I pick up on, like Bix definitely cares a lot about Cassian, but she's also carrying like maybe some bitterness or resentment there too. But um like whatever happened between them, like they've managed to keep some kind of friendship there.
Yeah.
And and they kind of have like an understanding that they're going to be there to help one another out when times get tough, which is kind of what happens. And like Cassian like asks her for a favor, and he's got like this part, and this plays into the plot here at the beginning of the series. He's got this stolen part from one of the um, Imperial ships that he wants to sell, and he's trying to get off planet, and again probably so that he can go and kind of go on his own mission that he has of looking for his sister. But also at this point too, um, he ends up realizing that people are after him, so he just needs to get off world again. um, but yeah, Bix's character super cool. And then her boyfriend Tim, kind of interesting. Don't see a lot of him, but pretty interesting. Also, it seems like one of his best friends, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. um I think it's like Braca or Braco, something like that. Um,
Who?
but but it's
I
like
don't know.
his best friend basically. But I think that it's also like his boss from work. Um, and that was kind of interesting too, because it seems like that friend has been like trying to take care of Cassian's mom, like when Cassian isn't around. Um, and we just get the sense that Cassian is constantly doing these deals. He's in and out of like these troubling situations where he's like he owes a lot of people money, and um, it, people seem to kind of like him and like respect him on some level, but also be like really irritated with him too, because it seems like maybe he takes advantage of people a little bit. So yeah, those are some of the things that I picked up on. But did you want to touch on any of this? I think you're on mute, Jake.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's interesting. His dynamic with his fake mom and his friends for sure. It doesn't seem like too many people like Andor, so yeah, I don't know. People just want to kind of steer clear of him for whatever reason. I think everyone knows that he's kind of selfish, maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
Is the word I would use. Yeah, right. Everyone's just kind of like they know that he's out for himself. Um, that's probably why he's broke up with that girl. I'm assuming, um,
with
or
Bix.
whatever. Yeah, with or whatever relationship they had together. But yeah, I don't know. It was too slow for me to pay attention. So
I think that's a good point too. Like I can understand seeing that, like him being selfish. I think what we're seeing too is that he's kind of been molded this way because of like the bitterness that he has with what happened on his home planet, and seeing like one of his friends die. That was what in one of the flashbacks, um, and seeing like his home world destroyed. Basically.
Yeah, that's true. We only get snippets later on in episodes like 4 and 5 of him as like a kind of a teen. And I wish they showed more of that, because I would have liked to see how he was brought up due to being saved by one of the rebellion people. But yeah, we do find out that his dad was hung. His fake dad was hung in like in the middle of the courtyard or whatever the heck was going on. So
Yeah,
um,
I think we get this sense that he just really feels like he has to take care of himself, like basically really only look out for himself. Well, not only, because he's also trying to look out for um his mom, but
yes, he does come back for her, and he
but
does want her to leave with him. So
yeah, but he is really focused on taking care of himself first, I think.
that's just like what I get for the most part. Not necessarily himself, but his own goals, like his sister.
Yeah.
And so everyone's like, all right, like no one's gonna get in between him and his sister, or like what he's trying to do. And yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I just got the feeling that everyone thought he was selfish for whatever reason, kind of goal oriented in a positive way, I guess, if you want to say it like that.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Yeah, I enjoyed the boyfriend of Trix. Now is their name right? Trix or something?
It's Bix, and then
Bix.
Tim is the boyfriend.
Yeah, Tim was he had the most logic, I think, of everyone in the town, pretty much. Just get rid of this guy. Why not? But it was interesting to see their relationship and how their relationship was affected by Andor.
Yeah.
And how much the guy didn't really like Andor and thought that he was shady and not really good for his girlfriend, which he's right. He really is. I mean, Andor's not keeping this girl out of trouble. He's like dragging her into more messes, although she's the one that kind of wants to be in the middle of the mess. But I don't think the guy's wrong. Tim's not wrong for being like, you probably shouldn't be doing all this stuff because you're going to get killed. And we all know what happens to Tim. Okay.
Episode 3. It's kind of interesting too, because it just makes you think like what all happened between Cassian and Bix, because again, like you can see that she's kind of like, she has like a lot of frustration towards him, but also like their connection, their friendship or relationship that they had at one point was so strong that she's still willing to look out for him and help him, basically no matter what, even if it puts herself in danger or puts other people at risk. Like, she's gonna stick it out for him.
I don't know. See, I don't even know if I believe that 100%. I think that she's just part of the rebellion and she's using him as well. I just think that he's
I don't think so. I don't think Bix is part of the rebellion.
Really? Did she hook up old white guy? Yeah.
Not yet.
No, but she, I mean, in episodes 1 through 3, yeah, she does, right? I mean, that's how he gets in contact in episode 3 with that guy, because she's like,
she doesn't even know he's with the rebellion.
Yeah, I think everyone's lying, dude. Why would they be like just openly saying I'm part of the rebellion? I don't even know if they call themselves the rebellion yet. See,
no,
that's the thing.
They're not.
Like, they're part of a group. It's part of a group of people that
they have said rebels recently, actually.
All right. Rebel scum. Okay. I don't think so. Never heard it. I've fallen asleep in half these episodes. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I think she's just using him. I don't know if she's really looking out for his best interests at this point.
Really?
I don't know. That's just me.
Okay.
I think she has other goals, bigger goals, and Cass is just a means to like an end.
I guess we'll see.
I think that's the part of the rebellion that we're getting introduced to right now, because how much he joins it, but he knows like it's not necessarily the best thing, and they just use people, and he doesn't mind at a certain point being used, like if it's like for money or whatever, because he's kind of a mercenary. Like he just doesn't care, even if it's like a suicide mission, like episode 6. Like he just kind of is like, yeah, whatever. Like I'll just do what I have to do. Like just stay out of my way, kind of thing. So I think that kind of leads into him knowing how dirty the rebellion is that they just like will use people if to a means to like to an end if they have to, even if they die, because that's what they have to do. So
let's talk about the character Luthen a little bit. This is like Bix's connection that we touched on just a minute ago. But yeah, so she has a connection to this guy where it sounds like she's sold parts to him before. He's like he's known as a buyer, and I'm pretty sure like at this point in these first 3 episodes, that's the only thing Bix knows him for, is being a buyer. I think later on she realizes that he's obviously more than that, but yeah, so his plan, it seems like, is to come and buy that part from Cassian, right? And that's kind of the understanding, but it turns into something much more. It's interesting. We still don't know how Luthen knows so much about Cassian and like who he is. And Cassian does reveal that he's stole from the Empire multiple times. He's given the Empire trouble already, and like we kind of touched on, Cassian's not just like a straight up rebel just yet, and he's not he doesn't quite believe in the cause, but he definitely despises the Empire. He just doesn't truly believe in like the rebels. He thinks it's pointless. Like it's kind of like he'll fight against the Empire, but he's not ready to like really join forces, because like at this point too, like the rebels, like their alliance is just like so small and so new that like it looks very pointless, because they can't amount really to anything at the moment that would really give the Empire too much trouble. You know what I mean? Because they're still just really in those beginning phases of like building. But Luthen comes to buy the part, but it turns into more of a job offer, and for him to really hurt the Empire in a big way by stealing the like the payload, or not the payload, stealing the funds and pay on one of the like just like tons of credits from one of the Imperial bases. So yeah, what did you think about his character and kind of like this interaction and this offer? Because that's kind of where episode 3 ends up.
Yeah, it does end right there, huh? When they're on the ship. I don't know. He's interesting. He's an interesting character. I like the actor. I like him in most things I see him in. So that's, like I said, I like most of the actors and acting for the most part. He's an interesting fella, because like you said, I mean, he's named the buyer. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, is he even really part of the rebellion? Like, does he even? I guess he cares, but he's like not really. He seems more like vengeful than anything, or I can't put my finger on it, but something's off about him for sure. I don't necessarily trust him the most for some reason.
Well, he's kind of similar to Saw Gerrera, who ends up being like an extremist, and we see that in Rogue One. That's why, even though Saw and like the other rebels, like they're fighting for the same things, they start to break away from each other, and like don't really have a whole lot to do with like missions together, um, because Saw's like just more extreme.
Yeah, like this guy does not seem to care how many people he sends to their deaths, as long as it like makes a point and hurts the Empire some sort of way. You
Yeah,
know, like that's what I mean. Like there's something like I just don't. He's not like he's not really a rebel in my eyes. You know, because
or
he like
like he
just
doesn't
does
have
not
like a
care.
pure heart, basically. Or
Yeah.
it seems like he's not like he doesn't have a whole lot of compassion.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah,
see, that's the thing. This is what makes me think that his sister, Cass, Andor's sister, is like alive. Is that he knows so much about him, and
mm,
it could either be that or the fact that his mom just and has talked to him for a very long time, and this guy was part of the mission that went and like she picked up Andor on that planet. Maybe he was like in the background setting that whole thing up, and they just happened to stumble upon it. Like maybe he wanted that payload or something, and so sent them in, and then they found the kid, and he's like, "Oh, dude, like I know who you are. My mission is the like mission that got you off that planet." So I don't know. It's really strange that you know so much about him, but yeah, I just don't trust the guy for some reason. He just seems like not a nice dude.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he's pretty intense.
Like
For sure.
I think he'll throw anybody under the bus if he needs to, like just to save himself, which is not a good quality to have.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I kind of get that sense too. I mean, we'll get into that more later on in some of our other reviews, but like him and Mon Mothma, they're not quite seeing eye to eye with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like he pretty much tells her, you know, at some point, maybe it's a little bit later, but anyways, he pretty much tells her that, um, that like if you got like a conscience in this, like you're no good. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
you need to check that at the door because you've got to be willing to do whatever it takes,
Yeah.
to hurt them.
Yeah, but I know this guy probably isn't a bad guy. I think this guy's going to be more like a father figure to Cass for some reason, or at least show him like how the rebellion should work, and that's why Andor, Cass feels like it does not matter. That's I think they feel the same way kind of until we know what happens in Rogue One. I don't think we're going to see Andor ever really get a heart until Rogue One, clearly, because then like that's when he has like a conscious moment where he's like, I can't just kill this guy. But I think he's gonna be brutal throughout, and I think that's what's really gonna mold him into who he is in the rebellion, quote unquote, where he just does not care. Like he will take you out if you're a problem. Like if you're gonna, he shoots that guy in Rogue One, like in the beginning, just shoots him because he can't climb
Yeah,
out. Like that's where he's at. He's like, well, you're now a liability, so see
right.
you later, man. So I don't know.
I
That
think
kind of worries me a little bit now that I think about it.
yeah,
That guy's probably gonna be around for a while, and Andor's gonna learn a lot from him. So
I think the last couple things I want to talk about for our review is the character of Cyril, who's like one of the, what was he? He was like I think he was the deputy director,
mhm.
for the cops, and the lead or his boss was trying to tell him to forget about the two cops that Cassian killed, but
Mhm.
even though he essentially he's working with the Empire, right?
Mhm.
um he actually, it seems like he does have a conscience, even though he's kind of like a villain in the show somewhat.
No, they're
um
totally flip flop and everything. They have this cop killer that's
yeah, it
like
just,
supposed to be the good guy, and this one guy that's just trying to do his job and protect his like coworkers.
but I think this concept is like super interesting too, though.
It's
No.
weird. It's strange. It's very strange. It's flipped on its head for sure. And I think they wanted to do that on purpose because, like I said, just going back to the line in Rogue One, like you don't know what to do. And I think
Yeah,
this guy that he's with, I keep forgetting his name, the older guy, is definitely like
Luthen.
bad. Yeah, he's a bad deal. Like he's not. I think they're trying to make it seem like the rebellion isn't that good because, like you just said, it almost seems like that guy has more morals than the Empire that he's working for, which he kind of really isn't working for. He's kind of just like a detective that happens to work for the Empire.
Right, but the Empire owns them basically. You know, that they do have to report to them at the end of the day.
Yeah, but still, I mean, this guy is, I don't know, he just is trying to do the right thing. He's like, dude, someone killed 2 of my coworkers. Like, I gotta go find this guy. He's dangerous. Like, clearly, he's just killing people out there in his head. So, but yeah, that's so funny that you said that. I love that guy, except they really put him in the backseat after this half. You know, the last, I don't know, 5 episodes. He's just been eating cereal.
Cereal boy, yeah.
Yeah, cereal boy, RD. And then he's been just sitting in a cubicle. You know, I'm just like, okay, and that's what kind of kills me too. I'm like, can we just pick this up? This guy's Joe.
Space cubicle.
Yeah, dude. I honestly have had the theory ever since I saw him and all this happened. Although I don't know how it's gonna work, but I feel like this guy's gonna be part of the rebellion in some way. Maybe not part of the Lutheran guy, whatever his name is. Maybe not part of his, but part of the chick. I keep forgetting her name too. The actual one that's in and all that stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, Mon Mothma.
Yes. So maybe she recruits this guy, and he's part of like the actual rebellion.
That'd be interesting.
But I could totally see that guy.
Yeah. I think he's gonna end up helping the ISB. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
We'll see. But you know, you said that a minute ago about how like everything's kind of flipped as far as like, you know, some of the people that were supposed to, you know, we've been trained to view as the villains. Like some of them have more morals than who we're looking at as the good guys right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of reminds me a little bit of Great Gatsby. I don't know if you read the book or watched the movies, but I mean, in that story, it's like even like all the good guys are still the bad guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know, kind of a interesting concept too, to just like really show, I guess, people's imperfection and like the mistakes that people will make, good or bad in the end.
Yeah. No, it's something that Hollywood can do pretty easily. I mean, a good example would be the Joker movie that came out. Everyone's like sympathized with the Joker at that point, but he's just like a psychotic person that just kills a bunch of people. So, you know, it's a little issue they're trying to pose. Like, they're not making it black and white. They're trying to make it gray as much as they possibly can.
Exactly. Like try to blur things a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I think it's interesting of them. Yeah, it's an interesting concept.
I was telling you the other day though that I think like Cyril, I think his character is kind of like a General Hux character, but like I feel like done right, or like done more justice to his character than General Hux. You know, Hux is like way too over the top, but yeah, I see similarities with this character. But yeah, I just think the writing for the characters is way better than that. So kind of cool, because I find him really interesting, even though he's, you know, who he's kind of like too is he's kind of like the knockoff Captain America, whatever his name is, John Walker. Yeah, I see him pretty similar to. Oh, I see some similarities to him. Yeah, where he's just like, to the audience, he's very frustrating, but at the same time, there's something like interesting about him too.
John Walker's my boy. Okay.
The real Captain America. That's
hashtag America. Yeah, hashtag real Captain America, big dog. Come on now, John Walker, baby.
No, I can't stand John Walker.
Oh, man, he looks like the guy from Up. How can you be mad at him? Okay.
No, that's so true. That's so true.
Leave the poor guy alone. He gets beat up by a bunch of chicks, man, in the movie. They don't even have superpowers. They just beat him up. The Dora Milaje, dude, just jack him up. Poor fella. Dang.
Huh. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about the ending too. Again, like, you know, that battle too. Well, yeah, I guess kind of like the gunfight that they have, where like the cops are trying to, you know, find Cassian. I I thought that whole sequence is really good. And everyone, like the village, are like, yeah, like they're banging on pots and pans and stuff or whatever is outside, and um they're basically like trying to help Cassian, like make a distraction for him. And that whole sequence I thought looked really good. And yeah, what do you think?
They made me wait 2.5 hours to watch it, so it better have been good. I love that sequence. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, and then,
yeah.
oh,
What?
sorry, I was just gonna say, I feel like the best part of that is like towards the very end, when Cassian and Luthen trick them, and like you see, dude, again, that the character of Cyril, like he at that point, like in this part in this scene, after like they trick him, and then they blow up like that transport, or like the speeder, with like their
Yeah.
with more of their cops. And essentially, they thought that they were like so close to getting Cassian,
Mm-hmm.
and then he blows up that speeder, and they kill more of his coworkers right in front of him. And like the change in like his face, going from like that hope, like, and that because he like kind of turned to like the captain, and he kind of had like a sense of accomplishment because they thought that they got him. And then the transport blows up, and then it's just like pure sadness and rage,
Mm-hmm.
for Cassian. Yeah, I thought that scene was really good.
Jeez, yeah. Now I'm thinking about more. I know we're trying to keep this short as possible. There's a couple things I just wanted to
Oh,
mention.
sure.
Yes, I love that scene. Perfect scene. Right before that, for whatever reason, Cass doesn't shoot this guy in the head, and then up. Very curious to me. Honestly, I would have liked it if he just shot that guy. Love the character, but it would have been more impactful for me, like if they would have just killed him off, and I would be like, oh my gosh, like they just killed that guy for no reason. But I do want to mention that we didn't talk about too much, but the detective, forget his name still, and the captain that you just brought dynamic actually shows as well another thing that they're flipping on its head. Like the captain even has more like patience and like empathy towards the detective, because he knows the
Yeah.
detective's upset. Like he gives like that speech,
Yeah, that was
and
interesting.
they're trying to like hype up, and it shows like a different side of the empire, just inside how they take care of their own people. I'm probably
Mhm.
glitching out. You're probably not hearing any of this, but
I hear
um,
you.
yeah. So I just thought that whole dynamic between them was very interesting, and the guy does go off the book. So this is basically it for him. Like if he doesn't catch Cass, like he's gonna get kicked off the force more than likely, because they said don't do anything, like we're just gonna make up a story about it. And that's why he was so upset. He's like, don't make up a story, like two of our guys got killed by someone, we gotta go find this guy. Like, no,
Yeah.
don't worry about it, and he's like, no, like we need to go find this guy. And so he gets the captain. The captain's really seemed like a really nice guy, except for the fact that he works for the empire. But the whole dynamic I thought was pretty interesting. I wish we got more of that instead of just ended. Gosh, I want to see how this other guy comes back, the detective guy. Like clearly he's not done in the show, but yeah,
Right.
I thought it was cool too. Yeah, no, okay. So now that you're mentioning, his friend that works at the yard with him, and he set up the ship so it collided into like the wall, right? At the end scene, they're like, "Oh, they're behind us." You
Yeah,
know
and
that?
even the
No.
villagers like tie down like they chain up one of their one of like the cops ships. Remember? And so like
Yeah.
it pulls on them, and like shifts his momentum and runs him right into the wall.
Yeah, he just blows up.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Like it was a good sequence.
I love that whole sequence. It was really well thought out and put together, for sure, for sure. I enjoyed it. Yeah, no complaints on that.
Yeah, because like you really start to feel for that guy, for the deputy.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, not good. Not good for the poor fella.
Because frankly, in that moment, Cassian's the bad guy.
Yeah, I don't know how else to put it, folks, but Cassian is definitely not the best guy in the show. And it's trouble. It's really hard for me to find anybody that's like has good morals in the show besides that cop and maybe that girl in episodes 4 through 6. And that's pretty much it. Like the leader of the mission, that chick.
Yeah.
But yeah, the detective, cop guy, and her, and that's pretty much it. Everyone else is very gray, or they're just really not good people. They just seem like selfish, like they have something they need to do, and they don't care how they get it done. They just want to do it. So,
right.
It's interesting. I gotta watch the next 2 episodes. I've been slacking on it.
I know, man.
It's like they finally got to that one mission completion on episode 6, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm not taking another 3 episodes of sitting around. Which, to be fair, the last 2 episodes have been them sitting around, have not missed much. So I bet you something's gonna happen in episode 9, though. Bank on it, folks.
It's gonna pick up again.
Something's gonna happen in episode 9 for sure. I can guarantee it. There's obviously a formula that they have going on here. So
yeah. I feel like we covered basically the big points. So
yeah, except John dies in the end. Runs towards his girlfriend Bix and gets capped.
Oh, you mean Tim? You mean Tim?
Tim. My bad, Tim.
You're still thinking about John Walker?
I am still thinking about John Walker, the big J dubs, man.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, he dies. It's kind of tragic. She gets stuck back on the planet, and Cass just leaves her. Kind of just dips and leaves everybody in a complete mess. The Empire is coming in now and taking over that planet, or at least the city.
Right.
So it seems like he did a lot more harm than good and put a lot of people in jeopardy and just left them behind to deal with consequences, which is very interesting. Again, not necessarily the best guy in the world. They're just, that's
kind of careless. He's careless. He's reckless.
Yeah. Some could say he's rogue.
Yeah.
He's gone rogue, folks. He's gone rogue one. Okay. But I'm excited to see where it goes. I mean, we all know how it ends in his story, but if they could spice it up a little bit here in the middle parts of it, I think they could do some wonders with the show. But yeah, just a little slow. And the other thing I've been noticing too as well is just in the media and stuff, I don't see them advertise enough at all. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I don't know if it's like a momentum thing, they just don't want to deal with it, or what's going on, or if it got overshadowed by the other Marvel stuff that they've been doing that's good for the company. But
yeah,
maybe the show's just might just be average. It's just like kind of skating by.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's for everybody. I think there's some Star Wars fans that probably don't really care for it. I think there's some people that really like it, and then I think some people will think that it's just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. But personally, from these first 3 episodes, I remember calling you after I watched them, and I was like, I think this is better than Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It's
crazy,
just because
dude. You're crazy, bro.
But see, the way that where I'm coming from too is that I like really care about a lot of these things, even though the pacing is even too slow for my liking sometimes. Like I've been wanting Star Wars to take itself more seriously.
Yeah,
I've been wanting some of these darker tones. I've been wanting good dialogue for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even Mandalorian from time to time has bad dialogue.
True.
Or some of the characters could be written better. Like what's her name? That keeps showing up on Mos Espa or Mos Pelgo. The old lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The old lady.
Old lady. I don't remember her name. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's just Yeah, we'll see if there's a season 2. I don't know if they're gonna end it.
Yeah, there is. It's confirmed.
Oh, really? Okay, so they have a lot more time to kill, huh? Okay. All right, let's figure this out then,
Yeah,
folks.
for sure.
I do know it actually does pick up in the later parts for sure. Just from what they've shown in the trailers, we haven't seen a couple of the scenes that they've shown, so I'm excited to see where they take it. Hopefully, they start getting into like the nitty gritty of the Death Star plans and
Yeah.
him joining the rebellion and being like, all right, like we got to figure this out. So
Mhm.
I think honestly, hopefully they, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm probably gonna spoil the whole season 2 for everybody if I say something because I'm just a genius, so I won't say it.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, man.
Well,
What do
shoot.
you what do you give the first 3 out of 10? There we go. We'll finish it with a little rating here.
For me, it's like a 7.5 or an 8.
Okay.
If it was like a little bit faster paced through like all 3, it would probably be a 10 for me.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's good. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna put it that high, but I appreciate your rating. You know, I'll probably give it a 5.5.
Yeah. It now for you is a 5.5 bad or is it just okay?
It's not good. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
You got a 55% on your test. I think you might be failing. So,
But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there are episodes, or at least one episode in this series that you've seen so far that you would rate higher, right? Like that you would give a good score to?
yeah, like a 6.5.
Okay.
I'll give it a 6. I'm between a 5 and a 6. Just for dumb, I'll give it a 6. I'll give it that extra 0.5 for the first 3 episodes. But yeah,
Okay.
it just dragged on a little bit. I think the marketing kind of messed it up for me, and I was just waiting for something to happen the whole time, and then just a bunch of dialogue.
Yeah, I think whichever one is like, the actual mission.
6.
I think it's 6. Yeah, that one to me is like a 9.
That was a good one. Yeah, I appreciate
That's
it.
like a 9. I think that's like just like seriously some good Star Wars.
No, that was like primetime Star Wars for sure. I like seeing how they work together, but we'll get to that next week.
Yeah, because maybe we'll just do that next week too, and do 4 through 6. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and then 9's coming out, and so by the time we do this, we'll already watch 6 through 9, and then the 10th episode would be coming out that Wednesday, so we could catch up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we could just do 3s.
Well, until we're stuck, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
Sounds good.
It out.
Well,
A
hey,
lot of people in the chat tonight. I tell you.
I know. Oh, we've been gone for a while too. Yeah. So, there actually is one person. Oh, never mind.
I got him, folks.
We won't talk about that.
I got him.
Yeah. Jake just played a joke on me. That was funny. Yeah, we took a little hiatus, but now we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Honestly, there wasn't a lot going on for a little while too.
Nothing interesting.
No, I mean, some people, like some friends, were asking me like, "You're not going to do a She-Hulk review?" And I'm like, I already said on the channel, like, no.
You don't want to do a Miss Marvel review, dude?
You know what? I didn't mind Miss Marvel that much. I think it was definitely better than She-Hulk, but
yeah, but it was just terrible writing.
She-Hulk
know
is
what's going
really bad. It was really bad.
Yeah. Everything about She-Hulk was terrible. Everything. Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, so I like the actress. I think she's a decent actress. I think she plays her character pretty good. And and I liked most of what we got from Daredevil. But that's like 1% of the show, or like, I don't know, maybe like 5% of the show. You know what I mean? Like there's so much that was just like so rough and cringy. So yeah, that's why we didn't do a She-Hulk review.
Yeah, see, I disagree with Dom 100%. Daredevil was absolutely atrocious in the show. They'd ruined
Oh,
that character. And then yeah, the actress is terrible. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know. She's been good in other things. Okay, I'm not, her acting is okay in other things, but it just was just something else. Something else. I don't know if it was just the writing, which it probably was just like the writing, but she was the most unbearable character I think I've ever seen. So it was just tough. It was just tough.
oh yeah, seriously.
CGI was on point in that show. I'll tell you what, perfect CGI
They should
all the
be
time.
Marvel should be absolutely ashamed of themselves for putting out
Seriously,
She-Hulk. They should be absolutely ashamed of themselves.
it's how I feel when I would like write an essay for my teacher the night before it was due and then turn it in and be like, God, please, Lord, just help her feel bad. Something, you know? I wasn't feeling bad for you guys over there, Marvel. You guys make
Yeah.
way too much money for me to feel bad. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So just seems sloppy. Just sloppy.
But yeah, I mean, some stuff is happening for Star Wars. Also, we reviewed Tales of the Jedi last week. We ran into some technical difficulties here and there. YouTube trying to get us down, but we're trying to fight the power constantly. You know how it is.
Yeah, the
And
patriarchy. We gotta come after it.
yeah, it's just because we're constantly popping off on our streams with all the views,
Mega.
and yeah,
Yeah.
all the subs, all the super chats. We're
I mean,
popping off.
I'm so famous now. People are showing up to my house,
Yeah,
You're that guy from Starfighter Podcast. Yeah,
yeah.
that's me. Get off my lawn. Okay.
They
I
they
thought I'd call
want
the
Jake
cops.
to like sign their dogs and everything.
It's
Autograph.
happened several times in the last 2 days. Terrible. Terrible. Sign their
Yeah,
babies, even.
yeah.
You
From
know?
rags to riches. That's us. It's happening. It happened for
Yeah.
us.
We're
So
there, folks. We're on top.
yeah,
But YouTube trying to hold us down.
for sure.
YouTube's been having some issues, man. I've heard so many people just giving YouTube the business. So it's not just us. They're just going through some stuff. Maybe Elon will buy YouTube, you know.
But I still have to put together our full review, like piece everything together, and then I'm gonna re-release that, put it all together, so it's much more better structured, and people can really enjoy what we actually recorded.
If that's
Yeah,
possible. Yeah.
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 So stay tuned for that, because I really love Tales of the Jedi, mainly the 3 Dooku episodes. I loved it.
So good. Those episodes were so good. Oh my goodness.
To me, that this is probably the Dooku episodes is probably the best Star Wars of the year.
Mm. I don't even know. Best Star Wars in a couple years, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, except for Mando season 2, that was probably like the last good thing that I could think of that Star Wars has done. So whenever that came out,
For sure, for sure. All right, well, yeah, good review, and I think we'll be back next week to do 4 through 6.
definitely. Yep.
All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and we're signing off for right now, but we will catch you in the next one.
Stay classy.